that's called Apritagya Dharma, another type of Dharma, which means satisfying Krishna. So these Varnashram, these Dharma, these duties for the world, for yourself, for your family, for everyone else, but there is a higher duty to satisfy Krishna. So we have to judge something by its fruits. And there are many religions, there are many spiritual groups in this world, and we judge something by the fruits, but the fruits will only ripen to perfection if the proper instructions are there, are being followed for growing that tree, proper watering, proper care, proper pruning, proper everything, and then the fruits can develop. Otherwise, what can happen, you can see different spiritual groups and different religious groups, and it can seem like lots and lots of people coming along, but the fruits don't mature, and they end up falling off the tree before they ripen. And that's because they're not taking the instructions seriously. That can happen in the Hare Krishna movement too, no doubt. These are called sahajas, or people who take things too lightly. That fruit won't mature, it'll just be very small, and then it will fall off the tree even before ripening. And then you get another type, which you might get big fruits, but then you find that they've got really thick skin and no juice. These are compared to what's called smarta brahmanas, who are more attached, so attached to the rules and regulations that their heart becomes hardened, actually. They've forgotten that there is also room for spontaneity in spiritual life. There's room for softness as well as the rules and regulations. So Krishna mentions that one should be neither too attached to the rules and regulations, although one should be attached to them. And on the other hand, one should not be so detached from the rules and regulations that one takes everything too lightly in spiritual life. The balance has to be there. And then with that balance we can perform our duty without fear, without caring even if we succeed or not. For example, I have to write a lot for a living, and I write a collection of short stories as well, and based on Krishna conscious subject matter. But I don't expect many people will ever read it. I'd be amazed if they do. I like it, and a couple of people who have read it like it. But it's very difficult to become successful in this day and age. So a devotee, we perform our duties, but we perform our duties without expectation for happiness or even distress or victory or defeat or loss or gain. Those things aren't significant really in the ultimate issue. The ultimate issue is just that we try. Just that you try. And that goes for everything in this world, whether it be material duty or spiritual duty. You just have to try. That is already the success, just by trying. Whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if one is rich or poor, man or woman, young or old, black or white. These things don't matter on the spiritual platform. The spiritual platform is transcendental to all of those things. So there are duties and there are services. There are essential services. There are essential duties that one must do, just like a mother must look after the health and well-being of her children, or father for that matter. Whoever the parent is or caregiver must look after the health and well-being of the children and the education, so forth. Give them a chance in life. So these are essential services. Then there are emergency services or emergency duties. Just like there might be hard times come along, one must take action to avoid destruction, material destruction. This emergency duties have to be there. And that happens even in spiritual life, even in our temple life sometimes. We used to have to, as I said, I used to sell things out back, and it was to collect money for the temples. And one time our temple leader said, it's an emergency, we need this money because things are going pear-shaped and we haven't got enough money to even survive for another week, and so it's an emergency, so we're working very hard, selling lots of things to make lots of money for the temple to sustain it. And then 10 years later, I heard the same manager saying the same thing. It's an emergency, the emergency never ended. So sometimes it's like that in this world, it's pretty difficult. But then there's preferred duties, preferred services, and that's the best if possible. And that's what we try and do as Hare Krishnas, is with everyone that we do meet, we try and fan the flame of one's enthusiasm for spiritual life. Where there's life, there's hope. Where there's a heartbeat, there's a living entity. Where there's a spirit soul within. And where there's a spirit soul, there is ultimately someone who loves Krishna. Someone who loves Krishna with all their heart and soul. That's what our real identity is. So where there's life, there's hope. And as Hare Krishnas, we try and fan the flame of a person's natural abilities or propensities or desires so that they can perform their duty in a positive spirit for the sake of pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It doesn't matter what it is, everyone has some way they can please God. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if you have nothing, or no money, nothing, you can still just bow down. Everyone can bow down. Everyone can fold their hands and say Hare Krishna. It's been made very easy in this day and age that all you have to do actually is chant the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is meditation. It's easy. So we fan that flame of the natural propensity. And in that way we can make spiritual progress. We can re-establish our relationship with Krishna. We can learn to love everything in the Lord's creation. As Krishna says, Yomam pasati savachā sarvam chame pasati sachamena pranasati sachamena pranasati. For one, he sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. I'm never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. So if we see everything as part and parcel of Krishna, everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, everything in this world as an opportunity to serve Krishna or please Krishna, by helping others, by working with others, by learning how to serve Krishna, then you'll be very, very happy, because that is the nature of the soul. So we're just trying to wake people up to re-establish their true natures, and at the same time establish our own true natures, because this philosophy is simple for the simple or complex for the complex, but nevertheless it is there, and if it is understood, then the natural result of understanding this philosophy of Krishna consciousness is to want to teach it to others, is to want to give it to others. If one claims to understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness but doesn't want to give it to others, that means they don't understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Because a big part of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is wanting to give it to others. So it's something we shouldn't be miserly about. Whatever the level of our knowledge is, whatever the level of our ability is, we give it to others. Sometimes people don't want to hear it, and that can be hard at times, but we try anyway, because say there's a big audience of 500 people, there might be 3 people in that audience of 500 who are very receptive to Krishna consciousness. There might be 450 of them that are not that interested, just waiting to be fed. And then there might be another 30 or 40 that are actually inimical and angry against the devotees. But we don't care about that. We're just interested in those 3 people who are interested. And the ones who want to get fed also, because they will make spiritual progress by eating Krishna Prasadam, sanctified spiritual foodstuffs.